Today is Tuesday, August 15th, 2015, and today's rant will be on 15 days, less a number of days and counting until the possible shutdown, which seems to be increasing in terms of what the options are, how much time is left, and where the votes are. So currently, right now, 15 days left. Take out 4 days for the weekend. Take out 1 day for the Pope. Take out a Jewish holiday. Take out the fact that there are only, I believe, 8 legislative days in the Senate. Not quite sure how many are in the House. And all of the things that need to get done by the end of this fiscal year need to be done by September 30th, midnight September 30th, which would be 2 weeks from tomorrow. As I said, 8 days. Now, there are a number of things to keep in mind in terms of what actually is going on. According to one of the House guys, I think his name's the guy from M, starts in and from South Carolina, is basically indicating that he has 31 House members who will not vote on any bill, any appropriations, any budget, anything that includes anything, even 1 penny for Planned Parenthood. That's 31. He only needs 30, basically, to not allow it to pass the House with only Republican votes. Now, if the Republicans went to the Democrats, they could easily pass it. But the Republicans want to pass everything with only Republican votes. And the reason for that is because they get to pass the bill that they want. Now, if the Republicans decide that they're going to need to have Democratic votes to pass the bill, then there's going to be some horse trading, there's going to be some wrangling, and there's going to have to be some compromise, because the Democrats are going to say, you can have our vote, but this is what we want. So we have 31 Republican House members steadfastly will not vote for anything in terms of Planned Parenthood. So that's a big thing in the works. That seems to be the biggest thing in the works. But remember, the Senate right now is trying to do some other, wrangling, other type. They're trying to pretend that they can unravel the Iran deal that has gone through. It really can't, but they're going to keep trying, similar to what the House did in terms of Obamacare, voting it out of existence, 50 times. So some of the things they can do is not include any money for it in the next appropriation, which may not get through the Senate. It'd be lucky if it got through the Senate. It may not even get a vote in the Senate. And then even if it did get a vote and it was voted on, it would be vetoed by Obama, and the veto couldn't be overridden. So a lot of games going on. They'll also might try the Republicans, especially in the House, will have some things in there specifically cutting out the Export-Import Bank. The reason for that is the Export-Import Bank is what we would call the low-hanging fruit. So that if you can get the Export-Import Bank gotten rid of, then hey, guess what? Let's go out for something a little bit bigger. The Export-Import Bank is similar to Planned Parenthood. Not really. God, did someone not read somewhere? It doesn't even have 500 people that work for it. I wouldn't necessarily call them all bankers, but basically they guarantee loans to foreign countries. And from my understanding, is they've made a profit every single year. Does that mean that every single deal that they do it makes money? I don't know. But they make a profit every single year, and they paid back the United States Treasury everything that they were given. But as part of their mandate, their money has to be allocated to them, and then they have to give the money back at the end of the year. So the Republicans could try and gum up the works in terms of a shutdown if they can't get the Planned Parenthood to go after the Export-Import Bank. There's also a Highway Trust Fund. I thought the Highway Trust Fund was actually coming up in October. I'm not really sure. The Senate, everybody wants it because it's a jobs bill. But who knows what's going to go on there? And like I said, I don't know that much because I thought that was in October. But the other thing is, in terms of appropriations, in terms of a continuing resolution, in terms of the budget of the United States moving on past September 30th, everyone is in agreement that possibly we should be shutting down the sequester. I shouldn't say everyone, but there are good reasons for that. Number one reason is that all of the Republicans would like to increase the defense budget. The Obama administration would like to increase the defense budget. Obviously, the Republicans in the House and Senate want to increase it more than Obama, but still Obama wants to increase it. Obama wants to increase that and also increase spending for all of the other government agencies, very important agencies, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Labor. There's a whole host of other ones. I mean, they're all very, very important. But the Republicans want to increase the defense budget, but they don't want to increase the budget for any of the other ones. So they want to find a way to get that through. And there are sort of some ways legislatively they can do if they get some votes from the Democrats. Now, not quite sure how that would all work out. But again, this is another thing that they want, that they don't know that they want, meaning the Republicans want. Obama wants it, but they're not going to do it just by raising the amount of money for the Defense Department and cutting back funds somewhere else. They're indicating there has to be maybe cut back some funds somewhere else, but also an increase in some type of taxes, some types of user fees or something to pay for all of that. So, and of course the Republicans are adamant, no, can't have any of that whatsoever. Again, another reason why they may want to shut down the government. And as I said, there's about 15 days left. How many legislative days? My understanding, maybe about 8 legislative days. Now, in the Senate, there are some procedural rules because they're such an archaic institution that if someone puts a hold on something, one senator can put a hold on something or a continuation, I can't remember the exact term, and put a hold on it for, well, it could take 6 to 8 days for the Senate to go through all of that, to break through that so that they can have a vote. So the question is, with those Republican senators who are running for the president, who need to get some traction, are they willing to have these I don't know what the right term is, but having something in there that gums up the works for 6 to 8 days, or six to 8 days, by putting a hold on something and thereby forcing a shutdown? Will Cruz do that? Will Rubio do that? Will Rand Paul do that? Will Lindsey Graham do that? Now remember, Rubio, Cruz, and Paul are all willing to shut the government down over Planned Parenthood. They're probably willing to shut the government down over the Export-Import Bank. They're probably willing to shut the government down on the Highway Trust Fund. And they're probably willing to shut the government down so that there can be an increase in defense spending with no other increases for any of the other agencies. So they're willing to shut the government down for a whole host of things. Did I say Planned Parenthood too? Of course. So a lot is going to happen in the next couple of days. Tomorrow is going to be taken up by Trump and all of the Republicans. We'll see how that goes. Trump is still making some headwaves. I thought he would have died out by now. I would really like to see someone ask him a question and not let him finish and go back to the question and say, you never answered the question, because he never answers the question. And of course, the big thing he always says, there's an example, I'm going to get rid of ISIS so quick it's going to make your head spin. That's his quick answer, but I want someone to ask the question, how are you going to get rid of ISIS? How are you going to bomb them? How many thousands of civilians are going to die? How are you going to hold the land? Because when in war, you have to hold the land. I want someone to do that, to force him to completely answer all of those questions. So we have the debate tomorrow night. A week, the Pope's coming in. As I said, there's at least one, if not two, Jewish holidays. And all of those other things that I mentioned are all the things that can gum up the works. I would like to see something going through. I would prefer not to see a shutdown. But when you have 31 House members who say that they will not vote for anything, and the leadership of the House will not bring up any legislation unless it can pass 100% by House Republicans, we've got some trouble. We got some trouble here in River City. We'll see what happens.